I decided to do a little video on the 64 gig iPad 2 versus the 64 gig 11-inch MacBook Air. And to be completely honest, I've got the 13-inch MacBook Air that I'm recording this video on, and before I got it, I was very seriously looking at an iPad. But now I don't really need it. And I think that goes even more so for those of us who have the 11-inch MacBook Air. Because let's think about it. Both units have the exact same 64 gigs of available storage. Both units have, I was going to say the same amount of RAM, but I do think they differ. I think the iPad only has 512 megs. But let's remember what operating system we're running, which is a mobile operating system versus the one on the Air, which is obviously OS X, a desktop class operating system. And particularly with Lion, they give you the benefits of the iPad in the operating system. So the way I look at it, the prices do vary significantly. It's $9.99 for the 11-inch Air versus $4.99 for the iPad. But what do you sacrifice with the iPad? Well, depending on who you are, you may end up sacrificing some productivity aspects. The key words are depending on who you are. You may sacrifice some storage options. Obviously, the iPad has no onboard expansion. It has no standard USB port. It doesn't have any of that. It does have iCloud, and it's got apps where you could get your documents from Dropbox. For those of us who are not entirely comfortable with the cloud, that's going to be a problem if that's the only way to get stuff onto the iPad. And if you're not comfortable with iCloud, you still have to have a Mac in the first place, or a PC, in order to regulate your apps, in order to keep them safe in case anything crazy should happen. But if that PC or Mac, in this case, should happen to be an 11-inch MacBook Air, the devices are so similar that I really don't see a need for the iPad. I personally don't, and I've got the 13-inch Air, but I think the lack of need is even more apparent when you have the 11-inch, because they both have the same onboard storage, like I said. And to be honest, the MacBook Air is more capable. It's got the full desktop class OS X operating system with some elements of iOS if you have yours pre-installed with Lion, or you've upgraded to Lion. Mine's pre-installed. But no, I just think that they're too close, really, to call. And in the end, I do think that the MacBook Air is a much more versatile device, which begs the question: do you think that iPad sales are going to be hurting? I don't know about that. It depends on what area, what market you come from. If you, in the past, have had several Macs and are able to afford one every few years, then you may end up going for the 11-inch Air if you need a super portable system that may not be your everyday system, but something to travel around with it. Whereas, if money is tight, you may end up going with the iPad. But keep in mind what you give up. But what do you guys think? I'm really curious as to whether or not the MacBook Air is going to hurt the iPad sales, or the iPad is going to hurt sales of the 11-inch MacBook Air. I didn't bring the 13-inch into this discussion other than referring to the model that I have for a very specific reason. Once you get to the 13-inch, you're out of the iPad comparison territory, because it first of all starts with 128 gigs. So right off the bat, you get double the storage of the top-of-the-line iPad. But what's your take? Thank you for watching. Comments are welcome, and have a nice day.